The year is 1984. A cyborg assassin is sent from the future, and with it, one of the greatest sci-fi movies ever made. So grab your leather jacket and sunglasses because we're going back to where it all began, the Terminator. James Cameron got the idea for the Terminator during the post-production of his earlier movie Piranha 2: The Spawning in Rome. He was fired from the project, but he used his last money to buy a plane ticket so he could still be part of the editing. Because he had no money for proper food, he got sick. One night, while he had a high fever, he had a scary dream, a metal skeleton with kitchen knives in its hands, crawling out of fire. When he woke up, he quickly drew the image. Most of the movie's story was built around this idea. The inner skeleton had to look futuristic, but because Cameron didn't have much money, he couldn't make the movie set in the future, so he found a simple solution: bring the future to the present. That's how time travel became part of the story. Special effects artist Stan Winston made a few more designs for the skeleton, but in the end, they stayed true to Cameron's original drawing. Cameron's first version of the story was more complex. Skynet sent two Terminators into the past. The first one would be destroyed by a resistance fighter. The second one was made of liquid metal and could change shape. Cameron wanted to use this idea but realized the technology wasn't ready yet. He also knew that, since he wasn't famous, studios wouldn't support such a big project. So he used only the first part of the story and wrote the Terminator. Years later, after seeing the success of computer effects in his movie The Abyss, he brought back the liquid metal idea and used it in Terminator 2: Judgment Day. Cameron sold the first script of the Terminator to his producer and old work partner Gail Ann Hurd for just $1. This symbolic deal came with a promise: Cameron would direct the movie. Hurd kept her promise and rejected every studio that didn't want Cameron as director. During this time, they also started a romantic relationship. They made Aliens and The Abyss together. They married in 1985 but broke up during the filming of The Abyss. At first, the Terminator was planned to look like a normal man, someone who could blend into a crowd. One of the first choices for the role was former NFL player and actor O.J. Simpson, but Cameron said, "I can't imagine such a nice guy playing a cold killer," and rejected the idea. Ironically, years later, Simpson was put on trial for killing his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman with a knife. Arnold Schwarzenegger was originally offered the role of Kyle Reese, but after a party where he met producer Mike Medavoy, the script was also sent to Arnold. Cameron thought Reese needed to be fast and emotional, so he didn't think a former bodybuilder was right for the role. Still, he agreed to meet Arnold for lunch. Cameron planned to argue with him so they wouldn't have to work together, but the meeting went much better than expected. Arnold was more excited about the Terminator character and gave ideas about how it should move. At that moment, Cameron changed his mind and offered him the role of the Terminator. Arnold happily accepted and ignored his manager's advice to avoid playing villains. After that, Cameron and Arnold became close friends. Arnold had seen the movie Westworld and liked Yul Brynner's performance as a robot. He told Cameron that the actor shouldn't just act like a machine, he had to be a machine. Cameron agreed and knew Arnold was the right choice. Because Arnold was busy filming Conan the Destroyer, the Terminator was delayed for 9 months. During that time, Cameron didn't want to waste time but couldn't start a big new project. So he agreed to write the script for Aliens for 20th Century Fox. On the same day, he was also offered to write the script for Rambo: First Blood Part 2. While working on these two movies, Cameron also made changes to the Terminator script. To avoid mixing up the stories, he used a different desk for each script at night. He even counted how many pages he needed to write and divided them by his waking hours. After finishing Terminator 2, he said he stopped doing this routine. During the filming of Conan, a reporter asked Arnold about his future projects. He answered, "I'm doing a dumb little movie called The Terminator. It'll take a few weeks." Later, he admitted this was a mistake. "I judged the movie too early. James Cameron created a great character and The Terminator became a turning point in my career." To prepare for the role, Arnold trained with guns for 1 month. In the first 2 weeks of filming, he practiced disassembling and reassembling weapons with his eyes closed to make the moves automatic. He spent hours at the shooting range, trained to reload weapons without looking, and learned to fire without blinking. He also practiced using both hands. He repeated each movement at least 50 times. His realistic handling of weapons was praised by Soldier of Fortune magazine. Even though he was the main character, Arnold only spoke 58 words in the whole movie. Interestingly, in one scene where the Terminator pretends to be Sarah's mother, he spoke more than that. Cameron saw that Arnold had only 24 lines in Conan the Barbarian, so he reduced the dialogue even more. In the end, the Terminator had only 14 lines, but the performance became iconic. The most famous line in the movie, "I'll be back," was first written in the script as, "I will come back." Arnold thought it sounded too soft and suggested, "I will be back," instead. Cameron didn't agree and said, "I don't tell you how to act, so don't tell me how to write." In the end, Arnold said it his way, and the line became one of the most famous quotes in film history. Makeup artist Dick Smith refused to work on the robot makeup because he thought it was too complex. He recommended Stan Winston, who ended up doing an amazing job. Cameron had already made several designs, and Winston worked with great passion. The result was so good that the two became close friends and later started a special effects company together. At first, Cameron thought about using a costume like Star Wars C-3PO, but realized the audience would know there was a human inside. So instead, he and Winston built full-size puppets of the T-800. For stop-motion scenes, they also used miniature models. The steel model was very heavy and hard to move, sometimes needing 4 people. Cameron also used a filming technique he called guerrilla filmmaking. The team would quickly go to a location, shoot the scene, and leave before police arrived. Some people in the background of scenes didn't even know they were being filmed. In one case, Cameron called Arnold at 3 a.m. for an emergency shoot. Arnold rushed to the set, put on his costume, and filmed the scene. The final desert driving scene was also shot this way. When police arrived, the producer convinced them it was a student film so they could finish filming. The nightclub in the movie was built just for the film, but some locals thought it was real and tried to enter. Today, that building is a jewelry store. In the original script, Sarah Connor had an old injury treated with metal pins. The Terminator tracked her by scanning her leg. Later, this was changed. She only got the pins during the final fight, which confused the Terminator. Another deleted scene showed the Terminator eating candy with the wrapper still on to maintain its organic cover, but this was not used in the final film. Sci-fi writer Harlan Ellison said the Terminator was inspired by his Outer Limits episodes Soldier and Demon with a Glass Hand, and maybe even his story I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. He sued Cameron. The case was settled out of court, and later versions of the film gave Ellison credit. Cameron said the producers forced him to agree and that he always regretted it. In 2003, the American Film Institute ranked the Terminator 22nd on its list of greatest villains and 48th as a hero due to his change in the sequels. And that's it for today's deep dive into the Terminator, packed with Easter eggs, hidden details, and behind-the-scenes secrets that make this sci-fi classic timeless. If you enjoyed uncovering the making of the Terminator and spotting things you might have missed, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with other movie fans, and subscribe for more awesome breakdowns of your favorite films. I've got plenty more coming from Terminator 2, Judgment Day secrets to more hidden movie details you've never noticed. Watch the next video right here and keep the movie hunt going, because there's always more to discover in the world of cinema. Thanks for watching, and remember, the future is not set.